I, 44F, found out my husband, 34M, is a different age. Let me start by saying all identifying information has been changed. I don't want anyone in my real life to know this is going on, and I'm just trying to figure out the best way to handle this. I, 44F, have been married to my husband, 34M, for a little over 5 years. We currently live in different countries due to finances in my home country. I did live with him in his country in the Middle East for the first 2 years of our marriage, and I have been trying to get things straight to get back to his country permanently. We have been on a little vacation for the past week. Last night we were randomly talking, and he confessed to me that he's actually 40. At first, I thought he was joking. I was confused because I've seen his birth certificate and his ID, and I know my numbers enough to know what year is listed. He told me that when he was born, some areas of his country didn't do a good job reporting births like it does now, so his has been wrong his whole life. I've known him for 8 years, so to hear this now just shocked me. I feel lost right now. We are heading back to our home today. I don't have a lot of time to deal with this in person since he works nights for the next week, and I go back to my country in less than 2 weeks. How do I deal with this? We have a pretty good relationship, so I don't know why he never told me this until now. Edit to answer some of the comments I keep seeing. I've never been one to care about age. I'm not bothered that he's closer in age to me. I've dated older than me my age and younger than me. No one friend's family cared about the original age difference. It might be because I don't look or act my age. People are often surprised when they find out how old I am since I appear younger. He's always known his real age versus the government age that is on paperwork. My biggest issue is the hiding it from me and me trying to get past that part. I'm a very chill person who doesn't like drama and always wants the truth about things, so this has been stressing me. I'm going to try to talk to him tomorrow after he wakes up. He works overnight, and I'm asleep when he gets home, so I'll have to get him before he goes back to work. I've just been trying to think of what all I should ask him. I asked him if he was hiding anything else after he told me, and he said no. I really don't want to be stressing about this, but it's all I can think about right now. I'll update when I know more. Okay, so he provided a plausible reason around the difference, and likely there was some shame involved. But he is actually 4 years younger than you rather than 10 years younger than you. How do you feel about that? Seems like a non-issue. And if now your trust has been impacted, are there other patterns of dishonesty? If not, and it's truly this cultural anomaly of how the records were kept, then ask yourself, why are you bothered? Why hasn't he told you that? That's usually a funny story people definitely talk about, and not find out 5 years after being married. That's weird. Has he been actively lying about it the entire time too? I think this is the differentiator. An age gap of 10 years was certainly a topic of discussion among your friends and family at some point, no? How did he react to that? Wouldn't he have told the truth? I guess if it's never come up, maybe this isn't a big deal, but it's how you go through a few years of marriage, and this isn't brought up to the point where he would have to actively lie about his age to confirm he's 34. Both of my parents have different birth dates that have been modified when they emigrated to my current country, in Europe. For administrative reasons, I can't recall correctly. They are like 4 years older than stated on their IDs and certificates. But they never lied about it. They even told us very early in our childhood in case we would need to know. To me, it's not a problem in itself, but the lying is a deal breaker. If he can lie about this, what else would he be lying about? Have you asked him why coming clean now and not before marriage? You have to ask the question of why did he withhold this information? It's such a trivial thing that it should not have mattered. Why keep it from you? What else will he hide from you? It's very strange to hide that. People are ignoring the actual issue because all they're focused on is that you're closer in age than you originally thought, which is ridiculous reasoning. Why did he lie to you for 8 years? There's no way that you haven't discussed your 10-year age difference before. He chose not to bring this up for 8 years. My boyfriend choked me during an argument, and now I'm terrified he is 19M, I am 18F. TW, physical assault. We've been dating for about 5 months. He is 19M, and I am 18F. A few days ago, he asked me to come over to watch a movie. I hadn't seen him in person all week, so I went. I wore a brown hoodie and sweats with a white tank underneath. At first, everything seemed normal. Then he asked me where I'd been on Wednesday. I said I'd basically been home all day. He snapped, accused me of lying, and said he'd heard I was with another guy. I told him I wasn't with anyone, I don't even have guy friends, but he kept yelling that I was lying, and that his friend had seen me with someone. I stood up and told him if he didn't believe me I would leave. Instead of letting me go, he grabbed my arm and demanded I answer. We argued for about 15 minutes, and I eventually pushed him lightly because I was frustrated and scared. The next thing I remember is him grabbing my neck. Don't forget this man is almost 6 feet 0 inches, and I'm 5 feet 2 inches, and he's very athletic, but still skinny. He wrapped his hand around my throat and slammed my head into the wall. I could not breathe. His grip was huge, and he was so strong I couldn't pull away. He was cursing at me as I felt myself fading. I remember kicking and trying to fight, but he didn't budge. He punched the wall right next to my head so hard it made a deafening noise, and I screamed. He then threw me onto the bed and just sat there while I cried. I ran into the bathroom and bawled. He came after me, apologized profusely, grabbed my face, begged me to forgive him, and kept trying to stop me from leaving. I left as soon as I could. As I walked out, I realized the punch missed my face by inches. It could have been so much worse. My neck has visible red marks where he had his hand around it. I'm shaken and confused because he's always been gentle before this felt like he became someone else. I don't know whether to call the police, press charges, or go to the hospital. I'm worried about my safety and what the right next steps are. I'm terrified and confused. What's the best way to protect myself and handle this situation moving forward? It's a known statistic that if a partner strangles you even once, there is a high chance it will happen again, and next time, it could be fatal. Domestic violence in whatever situation is not okay. Get out while you can and press charges. Don't be another domestic homicide statistic waiting for him to change. He won't. It will happen again. There is plenty of support for domestic violence, including a restraining order and counseling. There is no coming back from this. You need to block him and break up with him. You also need to photograph and document any marks he might have left during the assault, bruises, scratches, etc. He put his hands on your throat. He can kill you. Go to the hospital. Choking Van do a lot of damage that isn't immediately obvious. Then file a police report. This is who he is. He's just been hiding it until he got his hooks in. Be careful. Change your locks. Get a restraining order. Whatever you need to do to protect yourself. You need to go to the hospital and get checked out. The hospital will likely call the police for you. You just survived an assault, and you need and deserve medical attention. Please seek help and follow through with the police. Bro, call the cops. That's a legit crime in the end. That's not okay for anyone, no matter how sweet they were to you before. And then stop talking to that idiot. It's over. Go to the hospital first. You can have the police called and a report filed while you're there. This gets you checked for injuries you may not be aware of just in case, and gives you a better paper trail for the cops. How do I 30F? Tell my partner, 31M, I don't want to get married anymore. My partner has a lot of childhood trauma. I've tried to be understanding. We got engaged a year ago. We're supposed to get married in a few weeks, just courthouse. Neither of us wanted a fancy wedding, so it's not like we have a bunch of deposits. But I've never felt as alone as I have the past few months. He doesn't want to go anywhere together, whether it's a store, a restaurant, or even on walks. I do most of the housework, but also work more than he does. I have top-tier decision fatigue because his only response to, "What do you want for dinner?" is surprise me. I have to make 100% of decisions related to food. I have to do 100% of the grocery shopping, 100% of the cooking. But what makes it worse is that he's an extremely picky eater. I love variety, but I don't want to have to decide 2 different meals for every single goddamn meal. But what kind of tips the boat here is how he reacts to any criticism. The few times he's done dishes, they're still dirty. I don't just mean water spots, I mean there is food smeared on the dishes. When I ask him to come with somewhere anywhere, even if it's to get something that he requested that is 100% for him, he refuses and basically throws a tantrum. More and more I've been sleeping on the couch. I've been skipping meals because I don't like bland, boring food, but don't want to make or decide on 2 meals at once. I've been sleeping during the day because my work schedule is flexible and I don't want to be awake when he is. Usually, I'd know how to handle this. I'd just simply end things. But there are some complications. One, I really do care about him. He has abandonment issues rooted in childhood. We've lived together for 4 months. Before that, he lived with his abusive, narcissistic mom. I know he's healing from that. I don't know how to gently tell him I don't want to get married anymore that doesn't send him off the deep end. 2, to help with some unexpected bills, we pawned a few things. Some things are in my name, but one of my things is pawned under his name. They won't allow anyone other than him to take it out of pawn, but it's sentimental. 3. Because of his past trauma and current healing, I would ideally like to give him more time to heal to see if things change before calling it quits. Even if it's just a few more months. For we live together. We're 4 months into a 1-year lease. We're struggling financially at the moment, so we can't afford to break our lease or put deposits in at new places to move out. The purpose of women's lives is not rehabilitating damaged men. His feelings are on him to figure out. The whole reason you're leaving is because it feels you're managing him. Ask him to take the things out of pawn. Break the news to him. Save up to move. It's been a year of engagement plus however long you dated beforehand. He's not changing. If you thought he was going to change, you'd still be going forward with the marriage. How long have you been together? Why do you think a few more months will make a substantive difference? The fact that your second most important reason to stay in an unhappy relationship is that your stuff is at the pawn shop kind of tells you everything you need to know. Call off the engagement and start making plans to move out. It will be annoying and expensive, but there's no alternative. With respect, he is having a mental health crisis, and you cannot be both a romantic partner and his mental health caregiver. You need to tell him that the wedding is off and start notifying guests and anyone who needs to know, as a first step. Do it unilaterally. He will fight you because he sees you as his only ticket to getting shit done for free. Then stop doing things for him. And if he doesn't change, move out in 8 months. Pro tip, he won't probably. We've lived together for 4 months. Before that he lived with his abusive narcissistic mom. Oh, he's a 31-year-old man who never lived alone? What on earth were you thinking moving in with him? I am once again begging women to have some self-respect and to not waste their one precious life on men who hate them. Be selfish. The question, ultimately, is not is my partner's behavior understandable, given their background/conditions? The questions are, can this person be the kind of functional, supportive, full-life partner I want and need? Am I going to be paying and suffering through my entire marriage because of their dysfunctional shortcomings? Would I have a better life without them? Don't marry someone you aren't completely sure you want to spend your life with. How do I, F29, tell my partner, M31, he needs to propose? We've been together over 6 years and talk about marriage often. We're on the same page, but he is dragging his feet. We went ring shopping together a few months ago, but he hasn't purchased anything. Instead, he bought membership to a hunting club. It hasn't bothered me in the past, but recently his brother got married to a girl he's known for 6 months. Additionally, my boyfriend is comfortable with the way I care for him. He expects me to do his laundry, make him food daily, clean up after us, dishes, etc. I realize now I'm doing too much and starting to feel resentful. His brother and new wife stayed with us last weekend, and I just felt wrong and defeated by the end of the weekend, cooking for everyone and cleaning too, and I'm just his girlfriend. I've never been one to ever consider an ultimatum, but it's really getting to that point where I understand why some women have them. Please talk sense into me. He knows what you want. He knows what you expect. He just doesn't care, and he is making that clear. He doesn't need to marry you because you're already doing everything he wants a wife to do for him, and he didn't even have to spend any money. He's perfectly comfortable, so there's no incentive on his end. If it were me, I would first stop doing all of that bullshit for a grown-ass man. He can do his own laundry, cook his own food, and for the love of everything, he can clean up after himself. Then I would sit down with him and tell him in no uncertain terms that if he's not willing to commit to you, not just talk about it, actually take some action, you're going to walk. And then follow through. 6 years is a long time for a relationship to stay stagnant. You're not unreasonable for wanting to be with someone who's excited to get married and spend his life with you. Additionally, my boyfriend is comfortable with the way I care for him. He expects me to do his laundry, make him food daily, clean up after us, dishes, etc. Would you be more comfortable with this dynamic if you were married? Kind of feels a bit unbalanced in my eyes, especially where he seems to now be prioritizing stuff like hunting over you as well. Don't get me wrong, I think his brother is making a mistake. They aren't someone to compare yourselves to. 6 months is a terrible idea. But it does show it isn't just something about their family. It's more specifically your boyfriend being personally weird about it. So ask him, does he actually want to get married, or does he find the idea of it silly? You can work out what comes next in part based on that. Why do you want to marry someone who doesn't want to marry you? Even as a wife, Why would it be your job to cook and clean for him? Do you work? I'm starting to feel resentful. How do I get him to propose? LOL, dude.